Hare Krishna. Good morning. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, part 1, entitled The Status Quo. Today we will be reading from chapter 2. Chapter 2 is entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna. It's text 21. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Hare Krishna. You have it, Nalini? Down there? I'm from Parad Das. In person, we have Malini and Devin and Nalini Kanda, little Nalini Kanda, and Lakshmi Priya. Online, Lakshmi Priya, Anandini, and Gajendra.
Good morning. Valerie's with me today.
Valerie is also here with Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nice. Okay, we'll do the Sanskrit. Text 21. Vayam tvasam yati sayastriya disha. Svarajya Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama. Svarajya Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama. Balim Haradvis Chira Lokapalai. Balim Haradvis Chira Lokapalai. Kirita Koti Adita Padapita. Kirita Koti Adita Padapita. Swayam Dvasam Yati Sayastriya Disha. Swayam Dvasam Yati Sayastriya Disha. Swarajya Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama. Swarajya Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama. Balim Haradvis Chira Lokapalai. Balim Haradvis Chira Lokapalai. Kirita Koti Adita Padapita. Kirita Koti Adita Padapita. Who else would like to chant?
Svayam tva as yami yam Svayam tva sa yati sayas triyadisha.
Svayam Vasam Yati Sayas Triyadisha.
Svaraja Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama.
Svaraja Lakshmyapta Samastra Kama.
Balim Harad Dis Chira Lokapalai.
Balim Haradvis Jira Lokapalai.
Kirita Kotyedita Padapita.
Kirita Kodyedita Padapita.
Swayam swasam yati sayatriyadisha.
Svayam Dvayasam Yati Sayastriyadisha.
Swalajya lakshmyapta samastakama.
Svaraja Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama.
Parimaladvis chivalokapalaya.
Balim Haradvis Chira Lokapalai.
Kirita kutyedita padapita.
Kirita Koyedita Padapita.
Svayam tva samyati shayastriyadisha.
Svayam Tvayam Yati Sayastriya Disha.
Saraja Lakshmabdala Samsas Samasta Kama.
Swaraja Lakshmyapta Samasta Kama.
Balim Harabhischira Lokapalai.
Balim Haribis Chira Lokapalai.
Kirita Kotyadita Padapita.
Kirita Kodita Padapidya.
No, not yet. I need a few more tries.
Hare Krishna.
Svayam tvasamyati shayastriyadisha.
Svayam Dvitam Yati Sayastriya Disha.
Svaraja lakshmyapta samastakama.
Swaraja Lakshmyapta Samastakama.
Valim haradvischira lokapalai.
Balim Harabis Chira Lokapalai.
Kirita kutyedita padapita.
Kirita Kodedita Padapita. Right, we'll do word for word translation. Svayam,
Swayam,
himself.
himself,
Two,
two,
but.
but,
Asamya,
asamya,
unique.
unique,
Atisaya,
atishaya,
greater.
greater,
Tri Adisha,
three adisha,
Lord of the three.
Lord
Lord
of the three.
Swaraja,
Swaraja,
independent supremacy.
independent supremacy,
Lakshmi,
Lakshmi,
fortune.
Fortune.
Apta,
Apta,
achieved.
achieved,
Samasta Kama,
Samastakama,
all desires.
All desires.
Balim,
Balim.
worshipping paraphernalia.
Worshipping paraphernalia.
Haradbi,
Ahadbi,
offered by.
Offered by.
Chira Lokapalai,
Shira Lokapalai,
by the eternal maintainers of the order of creation.
by the eternal maintainers of the order of creation.
Kirita Koti,
Kirita Kotya.
millions of helmets.
Millions of helmets.
Edita Pada Pita,
Edita Pada Pita,
feet honored by prayers.
feet honored by prayers.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of threes and is independently supreme by achievement of all kinds of fortune. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation, who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet. Purport also by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But Lord Sri Krishna is so mild and merciful. Do you want to read, Nalini?
Okay. Lord Sri Krishna is so mild and merciful. I described in above verses, and yet he is the Lord of all kinds and of threes. He is the supreme Lord of all three worlds. The three qualities of material nature and the three Purushas are
Karanadakshai,
Karnadakshai,
Garbhodakshai,
Garbhodakshai,
and Shirodakshai.
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 There are innumerable universes in each and every universe. There are different manifestations by Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Besides that, there is the Sisa Murti,
Shisha.
Shisha Murti,
Like Ananta Shesh, right? Shesha.
Shesha, who bears the universe on his head. And Lord Krishna is the Lord of them all. As incarnation of Manu, he is the original source of all. Manu's an
Innumerable.
innumerable universe. Each universe has manifestations of
504,000.
that's
It's a very big number.
Manus.
Mhm.
Manus.
Yes, it's even big number.
Mhm.
Wait, like people, is he mean that?
Manus, we'll talk about that in the class. The Manus are like the fathers, like the forefathers of all people, all humans.
He is the Lord of the three principal potencies, namely
Chit Shakti,
Shit Shakti, Maya Shakti, and Tatsya Shakti,
Tatasta.
Tatasta Shakti. And he is complete, and he is the complete master of 6 kinds of fortune: wealth, strength, fame, beauty, and knowledge.
Renunciation.
Pronunciation. There is none who can excel him with any fame, beauty, knowledge, or
None can excel him in any matter of enjoyment.
any matter of enjoyment. And certainly there is no one greater than him. No one is equal or greater than him. It is the duty of everyone, whoever or and wherever, and one may be a surrender to surrender completely unto him. It is not wonderful, therefore, that all the transcendental controllers surrender to him and make all offerings of worship.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading. Om Jnanatimmirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Bhutale Shmati Bhakti Danta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Prachara Nirvashisha Sunyavadi Prachara Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedanta Shri Vasadi Gauravachi Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Eleni, do you have any thoughts on this verse as you read it?
Well,
Do you have any questions or thoughts? You asked about the Manus.
well, why does he have such a big number of Manus?
Such a big number of Manus. Okay.
Like, I don't get why he has like 504 million Manus.
504,000.
So much.
That's just in one universe. So this is,
Okay,
This is-
maybe you multiply it by 3. So, like, if you multiply it by 3, what would
that would be even bigger number.
that even bigger? But
15, 1,512. Because he does talk about 3. So it says Krishna is the Lord of threes. So this is just one universe.
like, this is how many people are on the earth.
These are the fathers of, these are like the progenitors or the
That's my dad.
forefathers.
Which are the forefathers?
They're like so what, here's, I'll tell you. So
Are
just,
they like,
now I'm gonna talk, okay? Now I'm gonna talk. And then you have more questions. So this is just one universe that has 500,000, over 500,000 Manus in just one universe. And in his purport, Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is the original source of all Manus in innumerable universes. So, so Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. And then Krishna expands himself into Balaram is his first expansion. Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. And then into what? Sankarsana and Pradyumna and Aniruddha. Who's Pradyumna?
you know?
Krishna's
Expansion.
also his son, right? Or is it a little different? Okay, so there's different Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarsana, and Vasudev. Those are the expansions of Krishna. And then Krishna further expands to be like Narayan, like Lord Narayan, like four-armed form, and Vaikuntha. That's in Vaikuntha in the spiritual realm. That's another expansion. And then Lord Narayan expands as himself as Mahavishnu. So this talking about threes a lot in here, because in the verse it says that Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of threes. See that? Yeah, all kinds of threes. So there's three different Vishnus. So the first expansion of Vishnu is Mahavishnu, or in the verse it says Karana Dakshayi Vishnu. That was the first one that you read. It says there's three Purushas. When you were reading, it says there's three Purushas, and then in parentheses, it's the three names of the three Vishnus. Karana Dakshayi Vishnu. So that's Mahavishnu. So that's the first expansion of Narayan into the he's in the causal ocean, or the Viraj River, and
No?
he's sleeping. He's laying there sleeping, not the milk yet. That comes later. So this is the first Mahavishnu incarnation. So he's lying sleeping.
Milk one?
Ocean
Yeah.
milk. So this is the causal ocean. So this is like the Mahatma. This is like the whole material creation. Okay, so he's sleeping. So Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu is sleeping. And then as he's sleeping, as he's exhaling, the universes are just coming out, not just coming out of his mouth and his nose, but they're coming out of the pores. You have like little pores in your body. You ever seen a pore look up really close, like where the hair comes out?
Your nose. There's pores.
There's pores in your nose, the face. Hare Krishna Rohini, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
Having just a family casual program. And we'll have prasadam afterwards, rice and dal. And so the universe is just emanating from his body and then from his nose. And at the end of, at the time of annihilation of material creation, then everything gets absorbed back whenever he inhales. So the whole world is just existing in one exhale. Let's do an exhale. And then inhale. That was it. That was the whole creation. One exhalation of Mahavishnu is the whole material creation. Let me finish about this one Vishnu first. So, okay, well, that's basically it. That's basically it. So Mahavishnu is there, and all the universes, millions and uncountable new universes are emanating from his body. That's the first Vishnu, Mahavishnu. What's your question?
We should say I have two things. So does it mean that Manus are like 500 4,000 years old? Does it mean like that many years old, or does it like mean like there's that many?
You're very curious about the Manus.
The Manus, yeah, we're gonna have to just jump to the
I have a
Manus.
friend named Manu.
Yeah, Manu.
You have a friend named Mangums, that's nice.
It says that they're worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation. So I think they're eternal. So it's 500,000 of them in one universe. All right, so we're gonna get down to the manas. What is the second thing?
So when Vishnu breathes in, like it's like the apocalypse of the world, and then when he, like for us, it's like 1,000 billion bazillion years, and then when he breathes out, everything comes back out, and the world starts again.
Right, like when he inhales, then we go, all the living entities and all the universes, all the whole creation are like absorbed into the body of Vishnu, and that's like a sleep. It's a form of sleep. Yeah, exactly. It's embodied.
Yeah, it's like 4,500.
All right, so let me go to the next Vishnu. Okay, that was the first Vishnu. Would you get the book to mommy? Nalini, take this book. Okay, the next Vishnu is Garbhodakashe Vishnu. So Garba is like womb, right? Like womb. Garba. So it's like so each universe is like an egg, and so that's like Garbhodakashe Vishnu. So then Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodakashe Vishnu into each universe. Yeah, we're talking about the Vishnus. Do you know the three Vishnus, Rahini? Nalini, can you tell her something about the three Vishnus? There's three Vishnus. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, it's like
So first is Mahavishnu, and then the universes are just emanating out of his pores and out of all the universes. And then each universe, Nalini, if you're not, well, one person speaking. Out in each universe is like a womb. That's like Garba. Garba means womb. Each universe is like a womb. And so Mahavishnu expands himself into each universe, innumerable universes. That's Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, the lotus sprouts from his navel. And that's where Lord Brahma is born, out of the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So Lord Brahma is the first living being in each universe. So each universe has a Lord Brahma and a Vishnu. So each universe has their own form of Vishnu, as the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. They have their own Brahma, and it's mentioned here Rudra. Do you know who Rudra is? Rudra is another name for Shiva. So some places understand that Shiva springs from the forehead of Vishnu, and sometimes I understand from Brahma.
Yeah, it depends.
On the universe.
No, also what their Brahmas are not exactly the same.
Okay.
You know, like not every spring is the same, not every day of Brahma is the same, not every exhalation of the Mahavishnu is the same. You know, there is distinction.
Okay.
But, you know, like, yeah, not every creation is the same. And like right now, we're certain Brahma is a pure routine of Krishna, but in other creation may be not on the universes, but also every creation is different. Wild is the same.
Right.
Like the spring is every spring.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah.
summer is always hot and wet here in Florida, but it can vary as far as how hot and how wet.
Yeah.
So there's a pattern. So, okay, so each universe has its own Brahma, form of Vishnu, and Shiva, in a sense. And Lord Krishna is the Lord of all of them. All right. And then, so Lord Brahma is the first living entity. So what does he need? How does he get more people? Nalini, what do you think happens?
Maybe he's like his mystical powers to make new people.
So yeah, so he creates more people. And those people, for specifically, he creates 7 sages, like the 4 Kumaras. You know the 4 Kumaras are?
From Mars.
Yeah.
I know.
Like the little boys, like little naked boys They're actually trillions of years old.
Trillions of naked.
Trillions years old, and they're little naked boys. They're sages. They're like some of the first living entities that Lord Brahma creates. And he also creates the Manus. So he creates the Manus, and the Manus' job is to be the fathers and create more children, more living entities in the universe, to populate the
Your
universe,
dad is a man.
to be the daddies. So that's who the Manus are. There's it says there's 500,000 of them in each universe.
Wait, how much we can do?
There's 14 per day of Brahma.
14 per day times 100. Or wait.
No, time train is 16.
So oh, okay. I see.
That's, I cannot calculate that. I mentioned that's how it's.
All right. So this so that's the Vishnus. We jumped into the Vishnus also. So you mentioned different kind of threes. So another three is he says he is the supreme lord of the three worlds. You know what the three worlds are? The three different worlds?
Earth
Earthly planets, middle planets, that's one world.
and the last one.
There's three. There's three worlds.
Upper
Upper planets, that's like the heavenly planets, the higher planetary system. And then the downer planets, that's like the hellish planets, the lower planetary system. So those are the three worlds. So he says, the Lord of the three worlds. That there's three qualities of material nature. Also, we call the three modes of material nature, right? Same thing, qualities, modes. The three modes of material nature, the three gunas. Gunas mean ropes. Gunas mean like ropes, like the three modes of material nature have us tied up like ropes. And we're just like puppets. You know how puppets, you play with puppets with strings and you just make them do whatever you want. Like the strings, that's how material nature, which is material nature, is Durga, which is an expansion of Radharani, ultimately, in the material world. And then so we're just like being played like puppets with the material nature, to the extent that we're not spiritual, to the extent that we're not cultivating spiritual consciousness, then we're underneath material consciousness, and then we're just played like puppets. Now the other thing is, though, we're always going to be played like puppets. But if we surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will make us dance, and he'll make us dance in like spiritual, enlivening ways instead of being played by material puppets. So there's three ropes that's described, the three different kinds of three different qualities of material nature, and one of them is called sattva. Have you ever heard of sattva?
Yes.
What is sattva? Like from sattva tov?
Toe,
Sattva tov, you know sattva tov?
stove.
Sattva
Toe.
tov. So sattva is like goodness. All right, so there's three ones: goodness, passion, and ignorance. You know what ignorance is?
Yeah.
It's like you're like kind of sleepy and dull, tired, like you're kind of just like, oh, I can't even think, or like, what did you say? Or I'm like, it's hard to pay attention, just kind of like dull, right? And then there's passion. Passion is like, you ever feel like when you're just like a lot of energy and just kind of like out of control, it's kind of wild? That's rajas, that's passion. So the ignorance is tamas. Ignorance, tamas, can you say tamas?
Thomas.
Everybody say tamas. Tamas. That's ignorance. And then passion is rajas. Everyone say rajas.
Rajas.
Rajas. That's passion. And then goodness is sattva. Say sattva.
What does that mean? What does goodness mean?
Goodness. So imagine whenever like, okay, so it's like ignorance is like, oh, I'm too dull, I can't even think. Passion is like, I'm not kind of out of control, I'm just full of passion and so many things I want to do. So sattva is like, okay, goodness is like whenever I'm like focused, I'm paying attention, I have plenty of energy, I'm like enthusiastic, and and it's also can be like enlightenment. It's like a step towards enlightenment, like spiritual enlightenment. Goodness. Anybody else have anything to say about goodness? What is goodness?
Goodness is goodness.
Sweetness.
Sweetness.
Is the vessel expression. It's a platform that allow us to birth Krishna.
Nice. Birth Krishna. Vasudeva Plama. Goodness. So you can describe things in different, like the food. Like there's food in different modes of material nature. So like meat. Which one do you think meat is? Which of the three modes do you think meat?
Meat's not a food.
Ignorance.
If ignorance, right? Exactly. And what about like really like spicy food or like onions, garlic, stuff like that? What do you think?
That would be. So there's ignorance.
Passion and
Yeah,
goodness.
it's passion.
Passion. And then like what about like rice and dal, like a nice rice and dal?
Goodness.
That'd be in goodness. So that's how you kind of understand the three modes. So it's the three modes of material nature. And also, okay, then later he talks about three different principal potencies: Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. He's the Lord of all threes. So three principal potencies. Chit Shakti. Chit is like spiritual. So Shakti means energy. That's what Shakti means. So there's different kinds of Shakti. There's different kinds of energies. So there's Chit Shakti, which is like spiritual energy, internal.
Knowledge.
Huh?
Chit means knowledge.
Chit means knowledge. Chit means knowledge.
Such-
But it's also like, as far as Chit Shakti and categorizing compared to Maya Shakti and Tatastha Shakti, it's like
It's a spiritual.
it's like the spiritual internal. So it's like Krishna has internal energy, and Maya Shakti, Maya like illusion. Maya is like the external energy of Krishna, and then Tatastha Shakti is the marginal. So it's in the middle. So that's like where we are. We're like in the middle, where we can either just be under in Chit Shakti or Maya Shakti. We can kind of be under each one. It's like just like the beach. You know, whenever you go to the beach, Devin, you know, when you go to the beach,
I don't like it.
you like sand? When you go to the beach, the sand, the coastline, sometimes, depending on the tide, sometimes it's covered by water, the ocean, and sometimes it's dry. It's like the same piece of land. Sometimes it's underwater, sometimes it's dry. So that's like us. We can either be covered by Maya Shakti or we can be in Chit Shakti. And then that's all the threes. Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your patience and attention. And we have any questions or comments or anything you want to share about this? I also mentioned the 6 kinds of fortune. Well, Anandini, I don't know if she's trying to say something. Maybe it's just, you want to say something, Anandini, or is just your screen looks like it's lit up?
Oh, no, I didn't want to say anything.
Okay,
I'm eager to hear.
Maybe you want to speak about the 6 opinions because it's an important part of the theology.
okay. So also later, after he talks about the Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti, it says, and he is the complete master of all of 6 kinds of fortune. So there's 6 kinds of fortune. Wealth, you know what that is? What is wealth?
Like, you don't get coronavirus.
Wealth, that could be a kind of boon, like a kind of wealth is to have good health.
Health is part of wealth.
Health. Wealth is like money, opulence, having lots of like
Wow,
Yeah.
Wealthy.
Wealth is the good word for money.
it sounds close to health.
Yes. Health.
strength. Strength is another one, being strong, right?
Everybody wants to be strong. Want to be strong. Right?
Fame, to be famous, like everybody knows your name. beauty, to be the most beautiful,
You can't be beautiful.
knowledge, so intelligence, knowledge, knowing, and renunciation. So renunciation is like, what is renunciation? Debbie?
Renunciation, like voluntarily choosing to give something up would be like an austerity.
It's like giving up something that we like, we think, we deserve or we need or is ours, like voluntarily giving it up for like a higher goal. Sometimes it's like from a short-term thing to a long-term thing, like some immediate pleasure for like a long-term pleasure. Have you ever done that? Have you ever given up something? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna do this right now. I'm gonna do it later and it'll be more fulfilling or more satisfying. Like what?
Legos, I was like, maybe I can make this tower before I make the tank, but then I didn't know, I should make the tank before I make the tower. Because the tower would take longer and the tank would take less time.
Okay,
I didn't know that.
so in Legos, you practice some renunciation in Legos, when you're Legos, yeah. So we can find somebody in the material world, we can find somebody in this world alive now that has the most money. And we can find another person that is the strongest person in the world. And we can find another person that's the most famous in the world. We can find another person that's the most beautiful in the world. We can find another person that has the most knowledge in the world. And we can find another person that is the most renounced in the whole world. So that'd be 6 different people. But there's no one that has all of those opulences, all of those, all those kinds of fortune. There's no one that has all 6 of those in full, except for Krishna. So that's how we know Krishna is supreme, is because he possesses all of those 100%. Maybe you'll find somebody, they're wealthy, they're strong, they're beautiful, but maybe they don't have very much renunciation and not that intelligent. But Krishna has all 6 of those 100% complete. That's the 6 kinds of fortune. Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions?
Well, as far as the expansion and creation,
Lakshmi Priya will be next after.
Hare Krishna, and okay. I was just, for me, it's helpful to clarify some of these like the Mahavishnu and the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the Shiradaksha Vishnu.
Oh, I didn't even go to Shiradaksha Vishnu.
I think that's the milk. Yeah.
That's the note.
Chirumimik, yeah.
I didn't even get to that one.
So, but just in general, like when I'm hearing this, it's helpful for me to see and Mother Malini pointed out that in a way like that these are positions, that these are services, that these are, so there's a role, there's a job, there's this the president, the vice president, the CEO, the treasurer, and so like and then different souls will come, to take on,
Not for the
not for the Purushas,
For
but then
Brahma.
after the Purushas,
Brahma.
starting with Brahma. But like, so Krishna expands as these Purushas, but then it's like helpful for me to understand that as the universes come out of the pores, and then in each one there's like a lineage. There needs to be a president, a vice president. Each one has like an organizational principle, and that like souls come in and feel like this. You mentioned about each like the unique, because you mentioned what's happening with it comes out of the forehead or it comes out of and you were like not clear where does Shiva, Rudra, like how does he appear? And then it's like, well, but it was different. And then you share it's like, because each Brahma is like unique and because there's a soul in the position of Brahma, like there's a soul in the position of like Surya is like the name for the son of God, which is a position. And like Brahma is the name of a position.
Yeah,
not
but
the,
not Lord Shiva.
not,
That's why the
yeah.
Shiva advice.
so there's clarity,
There's
distinctions.
Sada Shiva within the spiritual world, and all creation take place because, the semen of, it's like Lord Shiva is considered, like there is Lord Vishnu and there is Prakriti, the mother, and then the phallus is Lord Shiva. That's why we have Shiva lingas that look like a phallus. So it's like the Shiva Tattva is more complex than that. But Rudra, specifically Rudra, which is one of the Shiva Tattva, come out of Brahma here because he's angry about the four Kumara refusing to procreate. He's so angry. Like the four Kumara say, no way, I'm not going to get married and have children. I want to stay a child. And Brahma was, but so angry that Rudra came out.
Relatedly, another story, and there's always stories from stories, is Narada Muni refused to procreate and become a householder and a family man, and he was cursed to take to be born in the Gandharvas. Isn't it? And then he learns.
No, it was a Gandharvas and he came on earth, and then
Yeah,
that's when he refused. And then that's when he was cursed to never stay in one
It's
place.
like he's born as like a sutra.
Yeah, but that's not like the order.
But I had the order wrong, right? First he's in the heavenly planets, which are Gandharvas, which are like singers, beautiful heavenly singers. Then he comes back, and then his father asks him, please take a family life, have children, carry on the lineage. He says, no, fine. You go, and he gets the lower birth sutra. But then there's stories, so many stories in that. But those just really. But I was saying is like
it's all both, like you're right, because you have been Brahma before. You're like not you, like not in Bhaktadevan,
yeah,
but as a spirit soul, you have been Brahma one, a eon of years ago.
innumerable, inconceivable.
You do.
Well, so I mean, obviously, I'm not clear on all these distinctions, but to make some distinction for me is really helpful. That go like, well, okay, so this but actually you mentioned to us, our Brahma is a devotee, a pure devotee of Krishna, and that's special because that's so not all Brahmas that are the, the first
Living.
like incarnated living being position in each universe are pure devotees of Krishna. So just for me, I'm obviously not clear about a lot of distinctions, but one grounding distinction I make in all of this confusion for me is that there's these positions of like Brahma, and then a soul comes into that position and has a name, and Brahma is not their name necessarily, it's their position, and then there's uniqueness in each universe, like kind of because of them, they kind of, and so there's like that general grounding, kind of clarifying thing for me. It's like helpful and interesting, and yeah, that's what I wanted to share based on our Brahma being a pure devotee. There's a whole special universe right now because of that.
We can be proud.
Yeah,
We're not
that's
trying
good
not to
pride.
be white American. We are proud to have our Brahma is in our universe. It's a purity.
Wow.
It's good pride.
Yeah, that's special.
Huh?
Yeah, like if Tulsi was president or something, we could say like, I don't know, that might be better.
Yeah,
It's
our
some reference.
president is devotee of Krishna.
Yeah,
I like this one.
I never asked if I should
yeah,
Hare
Nice.
Krishna.
I believe that.
I could see that.
I can see that you have the potential to do that.
Okay, Lakshmi
But you don't
Priya.
want to be famous, remember?
That's
You gotta watch out for
that's
that.
good.
Lakshmi Priya
Best
has
president
It's
of
me.
one.
Valerie has it.
Yes, I had a clarity question. I'm not quite understanding the last two sentences. So it is the duty of everyone, whoever and wherever one may be, to surrender completely unto him. And then this is where I'm confused. It is not wonderful, therefore, that all the transcendental controllers surrender to him and make all offerings of worship. So
Okay.
why is it not wonderful?
Maybe not wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here, what I'm thinking, I'm kind of understanding and maybe thinking a little bit, is that, so you're describing how powerful and opulent Lord Krishna is. He's the Lord of all these different three things that we just talked about. He's the source of all these different Vishnus and all the Manus and 500,000 Manus, all these universes, unbelievable amounts of universes, has all this 6 kinds of fortune. So what I'm getting is like Prabhupada is saying, like, of course these transcendental, the other transcendental controllers surrender him to him and make all offerings of worship. But in the translation, so he's worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation. And so that's the maintainers of the creation are like the Manus and some of these incarnations of like Brahma and Shiva and the expansions of Vishnu. So like,
Prabhupada is relating to the verse.
say again?
Prabhupada is saying that at the end because it's related to the last sentence.
Right, who offer them their paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet. So he's he's basically saying like it's not wonderful, like being like wonder, like wow, that's amazing that they're offering all these things to Krishna. It's like it's their duty. It's like Prabhupada said, it's everyone's duty, actually, whoever and wherever they may be, to surrender completely unto him. So therefore, it's like natural. It's natural for them. That's my understanding.
Like it's not a thing to pray. It just is like it,
Right.
or yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I just wanted to understand.
Yeah, these amazing, like each of these, like one of these Manus is like the potency, the power that they have is kind of like inconceivable for us. Like what kind of, how many children they have or whatever. It's just like it's kind of unbelievable. And then there's 500,000 of those, and then like that's just in one universe, and then Krishna is the source of all of those. So it's just like, in relatively speaking, like it's really not that wonderful. Like it's their duty. It's natural for them to surrender and make all offerings of worship.
Thank you. That actually helps a lot.
Okay.
I appreciate the explanation.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So let's talk about the third Vishnu, because I didn't even get that. Nalini, we talked about the Nalini and everyone. We talked about Karanadakashay Vishnu and Garbhodakashay Vishnu. We didn't talk about Kshirodakashay Vishnu, and that's the one in the ocean of milk. So remember that we got to the egg, the womb-like egg, the Garbhodakashay, that's each universe, and then Brahma comes from that Vishnu. Well, then that Vishnu, Garbhodakashay Vishnu, expands himself into every atom. In every, you know what an atom is? It's like this, like just the tiniest thing that you can imagine. You look in a microscope and you can see like things are just like, there's like just tiny little dots. Everything's made up of everything, like just tiny little dots. And that's like the smallest thing you can imagine is an atom. And there's an incarnation, specifically Kshirodakashay Vishnu, in every single atom, in everything that's here. There's table, there's floor, there's ceiling, our bodies, and there's inside the hair, and there's another special incarnation, expansion of Kshirodakashay Vishnu inside of our heart, and that's Paramatma. That's God in the heart. Kshirodakashay Vishnu, and there's Kshirodakashay Vishnu laying on the ocean of milk. That's Shira's milk. That's also Kshirodakashay Vishnu. So those are the three Vishnus. Anything else? Rohini Devi Dasi.
So you all might have shared this and you may have gone over this already when I wasn't here, but I was wondering, so if there's for all the planetary systems, there's another Indra and another, like all of the demigods, there's replicas. I mean, there's different souls who are embodying those positions because it's like it's almost like the position of the electric company position or something like that, and Indra is the weather, in charge of the weather system or.
Yeah. Like administrative, bureaucracy, governmental departments, like that.
So Indra is like the title. It's almost like Indra's the title of this position, and then a soul will come fill that. I don't know if that's okay. It just seems so far out there for me. It's so hard for me to.
Like, you can say that the president of the United States, the position, and people living like.
Mr. President.
Yes.
And he's known as Mr. President for the rest of his life.
But every 4 years you change your president,
Yeah.
every 4 years you change, it's a different person taking the role.
So, but with the demigods in those positions, it's like,
Yeah, the duration is different.
the duration is different.
Yeah. The duration is different, so. Yeah, they are not all the same. Some the situation of one life of Burma, some they are liberated before that, depends. There's a Mangums, they are just going to 71 yoga cycle and then they die. Different time frame for each, some of the big gods, they live for 10,000 years, and then the upper planetary systems, some of them don't even, some of the upper planetary system don't get devastated at the end of the life of Brahma. At the end of the day of Brahma, but at the end of the life of Brahma. So it's like, it's like us, like some people, some bugs on Earth only live one day. So for them, if they think of us, but the love bugs, I think love bugs only last one day. So in one day, they do the 6 changes. They are born, they grow, they get married, they have children, they maintain their body and they die. In one day, they have all that. And for them, the life of a human being seems inconceivable. And that person who owns that house doesn't own that house forever. I'm a love bug here and lasted one day, but I fly in that house, and then this, growing in this house, someone else could come in this house and live in this house for one part. It's inconceivable for a love bug. Because your lifespan is like 360 days times 100. It's like, how much is that?
What are the numbers? I didn't hear the numbers. What are the numbers?
100 years, 365 days, 60 days. So.
It's 3,600 days.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, it's like 6,300 lifetime of themselves for that rolling to be owning that house. And then there is someone else is going to live in this house afterwards. So like that, we can understand that, animals, like people, sometimes they have dog or cats, and then for them, they only live, 14, maximum 18 years. Some cat can live 20 years. But even like in comparison to the life of a human being, we're to speak about the life of an elephant. Even on this planet, we can see the time relativity and the time frame of the life of embodied soul, and then also the position. Right now you're the acupuncturist of Alachua, and I know, like, when I moved to Alachua 23 years ago, there was an acupuncturist in Alachua. I was not home. And that acupuncturist is not even here. The acupuncturist of Alachua is ruined. And there is also one. At the time, there was only one. So that's how we can try to start, bring something closer to us to start to understand. But of course, for us to grasp something so inconceivable, we have to accept it's inconceivable and then hear more about the demigods and their lifespan and how it's evolved. And there's a part in the Bhagavatam that said that all living entity, all souls come down as Brahma. That's
They start, that's how
it doesn't say start to say. At one point we are Brahma. I'm not sure if it's start.
Oh,
And what I was Brahma.
Yeah, you were Brahma. Not you, Nalini Kantam, but your spirit soul having a human experience. And in this lifetime, in your human experience, you took the birth in Mommy's womb, and your father who becketed you is Parampara Prabhu. And you have many, many fathers and many, many mothers before, and many different names and different bodies as a soul. And now this journey as Nalini is like very quickly passing by. You're already 8-year-old, you were born yesterday practically. At least for me, it feels like that. So you as a spirit soul, you have many, many mothers, many, many fathers, many, many lifetimes. And one of those lifetimes, you were Brahma. You were not Brahma. Yeah, you can meditate on that. How does that work? I was Lord Brahma, and now I'm here in Kali Yoga in 2022 with ignorance and passion all around me. That's painful. Yeah, it is painful.
and so, then the soul that is inhabiting the body of Indra or the other, they're demigods, they're still having a material experience. And so they still have their own will. And so, but I'm trying to understand, like, I'm thinking particularly of Indra, because that's an easy thing for me, thinking of the weather and so Indra could do whatever Indra wanted to. I'm thinking of Indra, the story of.
That's a good question. He can go over downhill, so like, he just does that every time, or what? Like he's just forced to do that, or what's kind of
Yeah,
That's what the
different
question
souls.
was?
he's forced to do what every time.
You think about the pastime, like go over downhill?
But that's a good, I like that question too, but that's not where I was going. I was thinking of, like, because Indra can do what Indra wants then. Unless Indra is unless Indra like has done the work to surrender to Krishna and follow.
He's a devotee.
He is a devotee.
He's a devotee. All the demigods are devotees.
They're all
of Krishna.
They're all devotees.
They're not all pure devotees, but they're all devotees of Krishna.
So they can, from that place, well, in the pastime where Indra does, the Govardhan pastime, and his ego is hurt by, and so he reacts from that hurt, his ego being hurt. I'm just wondering, like, is he?
He gets illusioned because he is in the material. You started by saying he's in the material experience.
Right.
So he sees a little boy interfering with the sacrifice, and he just becomes like bewildered and like affected by his ego, like something like that. That's my understanding. Yeah, I think you're understanding.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering, is he really following the orders of Krishna, or is he making his own choices when it comes to like controlling the weather? Like, is he making his own choices, or is he like surrendering to Krishna's will? I don't know if we can know
Well,
this.
there is it's a complex system that Krishna created in the Bhagavad Gita explained that he sent forth the demigods and sacrifices. So the demigods, they are kind of, like let's say a tax collector. You can say, oh, is a tax collector free? Or, can you do, oh, you pay tax, oh, you don't pay tax. No, the tax collector, he has a job to do. And according to what the citizens do with paying their tax or not, it will give them different, reaction. So Indra is like that, like Krishna explained, all the demigods are emanating from Krishna, and Krishna sent forth a host of demigods with sacrifice. And so Indra kind of followed through that. Yeah, if there is no chanting of the holy name and no sacrifice, there is a lot of drought. And if they would, the living entities in a form of human being do a lot of sacrifice to Indra and or chant the holy name or worship Krishna, then there will be a lot of rain. So Indra just do his job. It's defined. There is a job, there's a position and there's a job description. And according to the reciprocation with the living entities, there is, there is duty. When for the pastime with Golden and Hill, so then Indra was very, like he was thinking, I'm the tax collector, I can do whatever I want, I don't care about the president. I'm going to go and take all the money from the president. That's Indra getting confused. Is that, coming every kalpa, every day of Brahma, exactly the same way? Is it pastime? Is it Indra? It's just there. I will not, I will not venture there. It's definitely pastime. Krishna wanted to manifest this pastime Govardhan. He wanted to show himself to the gopis. So give him a lot of opportunity to do so many things. But and definitely it's pastime. And Indra is also presented as imbued with his power. And taking too much power, like a tax collector will think, okay, all that money is mine. Well, no, it's not yours. All that power is not yours. You have no power. If it was for the president of the United States created that job for you. So, and same thing, you have no power in job if it was for Krishna, and Krishna cannot, smash your face in that pastime, Golden and Mira. Yeah, so the demigods, they kind of obliged. They are, all like they reciprocate with what we do. And if we do the right thing, they just give it. It's automatic. It's an automatic system. Krishna is not like that. Yeah, there's no mechanical system. But to worship of the demigods, it's all mechanical.
You don't need bhakti.
Um,
You don't need bhakti.
There is a drop. There is a
Drop
need
of
for
bhakti.
everything. There is a need for a drop.
Demigod worship is a drop of bhakti.
Somewhere.
Something.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I think, because you say it's hard to grasp, like all the demigods and the different positions and everything, and to me, I think it's in one sense, it's easier for me to understand or accept that than the idea of like, well, there's just God, and that's it, and he just like does, everything's handled from God. It's like, well, actually,
He does everything.
it's like, yeah, how's he do everything? Just what is he like, but this is like, oh, well, yeah, he could do everything. He's in control of everything. He's maintaining everything, and he has assistants and different expansions and different, administrators and workers and that handle things for him.
Opportunities for service.
The dirty work.
Yes, no, yeah, it's also opportunity for service for the different living entities who have different contamination. It's like
Yeah.
a balance between the two, because the matter of cosmic manifestation take place, it's not born of matter, it's born of spirit. And the spirit tells the part and parcel of Krishna. And that reciprocation between the part and parcel of Krishna and Prakriti that's applying to create what we know as reality.
As far out. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There's a chat. Thank you, Hare Krishna, before she left. Hare Krishna.